I'll be talking about what I consider culture. Every single individual on earth belongs to a certain culture, and cultural belonging is usually associated with stuff like traditions, hobbies, food, but in my perspective, one part of culture to me is the healthcare field because it's really close-knit. Culture is a broad term to describe social norms and behaviors exhibited by a group of people, and I believe that nursing is my culture. My own personal culture that I feel most connected with, like I said before, is healthcare, and this particular interest in the nursing field has been greatly influenced by many events in my life leading up to today. I've begun this career path by entering the pre-health major, and I plan on continuing and finishing my degree here at Fresno State before I apply to the actual nursing program itself. The many impacts of my life that have led me to such a deep passion for this certain interest, I will be discussing 3 of them that I believe are the most important. These impacts include the direct influence of my family and how big it is, the influence of me becoming a CNA in high school and pursuing that pathway for all 4 years, and the impact that COVID-19 has had on my overall interest in this career. First, let's cover the influence my family has had on my interest. So I come from a really big family on both sides of my mom's side, so both my grandma and my grandpa have like 11 siblings each. It's a huge, huge family. We have so many parties, and I haven't even met like half of my cousins yet, and I have around, I would say, 200. So because I come from a large family, it means there's always children. There's always somebody pregnant in my family, or there's always somebody getting hurt, or unfortunately, sometimes it has to do with like the loss of a family member. So because I see a lot of loss and a lot of new life being made in my family, it's just really led me to value it, and I think that healthcare kind of connects me to that because I get to see people pass on, and I also get to see people being brought into the world. So the one incident that has mostly recently influenced my interest in this field was the birth of my youngest brother, Roman. Roman was 25 weeks old when he was born, and he only weighed 14 ounces at birth. He was immediately admitted into the NICU at Valley Children's and spent 114 days there. I spent pretty much my whole summer there with Roman and all of my family. He was really severely underdeveloped. I have a couple pictures of him, but I don't know if they're going to be able to come up. It did come up?
I don't know if it disconnected you.
I'm pretty sure it did. It says it's connected. I don't know how to get it on there. But so we spent most of 2020 in the hospital with Roman. It was like watching a miracle happen before my eyes. Like he literally developed outside of the womb. He was born with like no ears or anything like that, and they literally formed, and now he's perfectly fine. They expected him to have a lot of health issues, and they said like he wasn't going to be able to walk or talk, or he was going to be severely underdeveloped mental-wise, but somehow he's perfectly fine. He walks, talks, he's really smart. He just celebrated his 2nd birthday, so he's a really big influence on me, and I've always wanted to work in the NICU, so having that sibling be a part of that specific department of the hospital was like the final like affirmation that I needed to want to be where I am today. Next, let's discuss my experience as a CNA and how this has encouraged me to continue this career path. So I joined the CNA program in my high school my senior year, and I had taken sports medicine and human anatomy my sophomore and my junior year. So the medical field has always really influenced like my choices of high school classes as well. I would say that nursing is definitely not meant for everyone, and aspiring nurses will tell you this all the time. Veteran nurses especially remind you that experience is needed before you actually get into the field. So I believe that one of the most valuable pieces of advice that you could be given as a nurse is to work your way up to such a responsibility and think of it as like a hierarchy. So you start at the bottom of the pyramid and you try and work your way up to even becoming like a doctor even, you know? So this allows you to view things from another team member's perspective and appreciate their efforts as well as your own. Being a CNA, medical assistant, or by simply working in a medical office before you begin your actual clinical experience as a nurse is essential because it's a great learning experience and it's foreshadowing what is expected of you at a higher position. This first-hand experience allows you to solidify and confirm what you want to do in the future. The CNA course that my high school offered was how I allowed myself to become certified by the state board and receive real clinical experience during the pandemic. It was a strong force that has pushed me to still pursue becoming an RN. Nothing can compare to the real thing, and that is definitely true, but it was kind of halted by COVID-19. We had to work on mannequins. It was like it felt super disconnecting from the experience because everybody else that had taken that course before me was able to go to the retirement home, and they had worked like hands-on with people there, and we were doing it with mannequins, so it was just really hard to kind of get that experience when the person can't talk back to you. You don't really get to experience any type of emotion or connection with any of your patients. So it was just really hard, but luckily at the end of the year we were able to go for about 2 weeks, and then we took our state board test and we did that on the mannequins as well. So I spent a lot of time with dolls, but now that hopefully in the future, obviously it'll be with people, you know, I really want that experience because it was great to even have those 2 weeks. It made me so sad, like when we had to leave and take the state test. It was just really nice to get that little small glimpse of experience. So I did my clinical hours at Palm Village Retirement Center in Reedley, California. It's located in my hometown, and I loved absolutely every minute of it. It just allowed me to learn the steps of patient care and how to interact with others in an actual work environment. Getting to experience the environment in person was definitely a make or break for some of my classmates, and many girls decided that it wasn't for them, but this was just another confirmation for me that I needed in order to even apply here for my degree today. So it's so important to gain experience in the healthcare field before throwing yourself into a lifelong career in this respected profession. It definitely allowed me to realize how much I enjoyed helping others and interacting with patients, which is so important to discover now that I look back at it, because sometimes a lot of people don't realize that it's not for them until they're already in the career. So lastly, I'm going to be discussing COVID-19 and its impact on the healthcare setting. I have managed to maintain a pretty positive outlook when it comes to achieving my career goals, but there have been a few bumps in the road that have made me question myself and question my abilities. COVID was definitely one of them. It was a very negative factor when it came to healthcare because it shined a really not good light on how poorly nurses have been treated and their pay, and just overall how people have no compassion during such a pressing time. So it has revealed how much healthcare corporations cared about profit rather than patient care, and it left many nurses fending for themselves and their patients with no outside help. So that was kind of scary to me because it was just like, I don't even have I don't even have the backup from the people above me, you know, like when stuff happens. It has left them fending for themselves. Nurses are expected to show up and risk their own health every day to help others, and it's understandable to expect this from a nurse, but COVID has caused people to lose basic empathy for healthcare professionals during such times because it's simply their job. People think that because you work in this field, you're just automatically required to put your life on the line, and you're not thought of as a human. You're thought of as pretty much a robot that just provides nothing but care, and they don't see you as someone who has needs and wants and stuff like that. So just because people sign up for a certain career, it doesn't mean that they need to be dragged through hell and back while doing it, and this is what the average person in society fails to realize. Though the pandemic has made me question if I am capable of participating in this line of work, it has also motivated me to work towards my goals so that I can help patients in the near future, just like those who are currently working in hospitals during a global pandemic at this moment. What's the time on it?
9:41.
9? Oh my goodness. I did not know it was that long. Being a part of the healthcare field definitely feels like cultural belonging to me because of how broad the field truly is and how many different components there are to it. I believe that you can truly form amazing relationships and connections while saving lives in this career setting, and it can truly feel like a family support group if you allow it to. Therefore, my career interests certainly do play a big role in my sense of belonging. My past experiences, my recent participation in the healthcare field, and COVID-19 have all played a significant role in shaping my career and how connected I feel to it in particular. Thank you.